Hello crafty friends, it's Jess from jesscrafts.com, and today I'm here with a card for Newton's Nook Designs. I am making a congratulations on your retirement card. I had specific requests for a retirement card, and I'm using the Simply Sentimental and Fanciful Florals from Newton's Nook Designs. Simply Sentimental was actually the only stamp set in my collection which had a retirement saying, and I have quite a few different stamp sets, of course. And so I find this one a stamp set that I go to a lot because it has a really wide range of sentiments available in it, and it also has those larger scripty sayings which add some interest to the stamping. I'm starting with the large congrats, and I'm stamping in Versamark ink because I'm going to be doing some embossing with embossing powder. And the on your and retirement are actually separate so that you can make a wider range of different sayings. So you could say congrats on your graduation, for instance, and all of those different little sayings are in there. So it's a very useful set. When I started with the embossing powder, I forgot to use my anti-static bag, which helps to kind of reduce the static. You can use an embossing buddy, the bag like this. There's a tool from EK Success, but also I've heard just some cornstarch can do the trick as well. But you need something that takes away the static from the paper, because if you saw on that first one, there was extra powder everywhere, and I would not have got a crisp sentiment when I melted it. There would have been little bits of powder everywhere, and so you can see that comparison right there about why that tool is so important. In this instance, I found it even more important because this is the gold tinsel embossing powder from Ranger, which includes glitter in it. And glitter has even more of a tendency to stick where you don't want it than your average embossing powder. So I was very, very generous with the the anti-static powder in this instance. You can see my card appears white, and that's nothing you have to be concerned about because that white powder will come off later, and I'll show you how I remove it. But you do definitely want to be really generous with the powder so that things don't stick where you don't want them. Now I'm moving on to the Fanciful Floral stamp set. I made a card pretty similar to this recently with gold foil, and my aunt wanted a retirement card, and she liked that other card, but she wanted it to specifically say retirement, so I thought I would mix it up a little bit because she still wanted that black and gold, and show a similar look with embossing powder, just for reference, if those are more the supplies that you have. And I also wanted to see what this gold glitter embossing powder would look like, as I haven't had a chance to use it from my stash. And I found that it melted really nice. When it is just put onto the paper, it is like really shiny and almost a little too brassy for me, but when it melts, it looks a lot better, and it really looks kind of like the glitter paper that you find out in the market right now, and I was able to match it up with glitter paper that I had in my stash. So I'm stamping a little bit of a design with the different elements from the stamp set. Again, I like that these are more like a builder stamp set in the sense that all the elements are apart from each other, and so you can kind of make your own combination and your own little interesting pattern. So the lines and the leaves aren't actually attached to the flower, so you can get a variety of different looks. And in this instance, I found myself using the two swirls, the little grouping of dots, and two of the medium-sized flowers, although there are a good variety of different flowers in there. And I like these because they're well suited for a lot of different techniques. I've done foiling, as I've said, I've done gilding flakes, I've done ombre stamping, and it all works well because they are these large solid images, and you can get a lot of different looks with them. I mean, you could get a lot of great looks with outline images too, and if you're more like the outline images, there is the Beautiful Blossom stamp set from Newton's Nook as well. So I'm taking my heat gun and melting it. Generally, you want to make sure that your gun is hot before you go. And then here I wanted to clean up all of that glitter embossing powder, and so I just wiped a Swiffer cloth along my table, and it picked up all the glitter. Then I thought, I could just use the same Swiffer cloth to clean up my card, however, it's catching on the glitter. So then I took a large paintbrush, and I picked this up one day randomly at the dollar store. They're like 2 for $1, and I found that it helps me in a lot of different ways in my craft room. I basically use it as like a little tiny broom, and so I was able to sweep up all of that white powder off the background. And then I found a piece of glitter paper in my stash that coordinated with the glitter embossing powder, and I used that as a border around the card because I wanted to make sure that there was a little bit more interest In the end, I wish I'd used a little bit better quality black paper since so much of the black winds up showing, but I'm still happy with the way it turned out, and so was my aunt who requested the card. And I wanted to add one more little touch to it because I thought it was looking kind of plain. So I tried some different options before I settled on the black enamel dots. I thought about some glitter enamel dots that I had from Your Next Stamp, but they were a little bit different in the color of glitter, and that's kind of one of those difficulties about working with glitter, is they don't all always look the same and coordinate together. And if you didn't have glitter paper in your stash, but you did have the glitter embossing powder, you could actually emboss the edges of a piece of white cardstock, and you would be able to get a similar effect as I did there in the background without having a paper that exactly matched. So I'm just arranging the enamel dots in little groupings, usually of 3, trying to kind of keep the numbers to odds, but sometimes I'm using groups of 1 or 2 because overall I made sure that there were odds and try to create some visual triangles throughout. And with that, that is it for my card today. If you like this video, you can give it a thumbs up. If you're interested in more crafting tutorials, including tutorials featuring Newton's Nook designs, you can subscribe to my channel and be sure to check out the video description for some links. Thanks for watching. Bye.